Hi, fourth graders. Today is our first official day of measurement. Throughout this unit, you are going to learn about different types of measurement and different reasons for why people use measurement. Our unit is broken into two sections. The first section is about customary units. Customary units are what we use in the United States. It's units like cups, inches, gallons, feet, miles, and more. The other system for measurement is the metric system. Believe it or not, even though you live in the United States and have grown up using the customary unit system, I think you're going to find that the metric system actually is easier mathematically, but more on that later. We are going to use customary units for length and in future lessons for capacity and weight. You'll learn more about those, as I said, in upcoming lessons. Don't forget that each day you should be taking notes as you watch the videos. The measurement videos will be a little bit shorter than long division, and I will also post a bonus video from Pearson Realize, that's who makes Envision, if the lesson from me is not enough and you need more help. Okay, let's jump in. Our first learning goal says, I can estimate and measure length by choosing the most appropriate unit of length. Another word we sometimes hear when we are discussing the measurement of length is distance. Both length and distance are a way of saying how much space is there between 2 points. So it can be something very small, like the length of a skin cell, or it could be something very, very large, like the distance between New York City and Chicago. You've heard them before, and you've heard me mention them throughout the video. There are 4 types of units that we're going to focus on that have to do with customary units of length. The first is an inch. There are 12 inches in 1 foot. There are 3 feet in 1 yard, and there are 1,760 yards in 1 mile. Sometimes thinking about these lengths can be a little bit tricky, so it's good to have other pictures of other objects in mind that would help you understand how big or how small each unit is. So when you think about an inch, you should be thinking about the size of a paper clip. These are estimates, by the way. A foot is about the size of a notebook paper. Think about how tall it is. That's about a foot. A yard would be about the length of our school desks. And a mile can be a little bit trickier to conceptualize. I like to think of a mile as about 8 city blocks. So if you were to walk 8 blocks, that would be about a mile. Let's record the specific conversions too. You already know the word conversion from changing fractions to decimals and decimals to fractions. Conversion is a way of saying to change. So if I start with an inch, there are 12 inches in 1 foot. Notice how I abbreviated. If you don't want to write the whole word inches, you can write lowercase I, lowercase n, period. So there are 12 inches in 1 foot. Again, if you want to abbreviate and you don't want to write out the whole word foot or feet, you can do FT, period. There are 3 feet in 1 yard. Notice the abbreviation for yard is YD, period. And for a mile, we're actually going to write down 2 different conversions. The first is 1,760 yards in 1 mile. The abbreviation for mile is MI period. More commonly, you'll see this conversion. 5,280 feet are in 1 mile. Soon we'll start to do conversions, or in other words, changing from one unit to another. So for instance, I might say my block is 1,285 inches long. How many feet is that? We'll convert. But for today, our goal is really understanding about how long each of these units are in connection with things that we see in our daily lives. To check for understanding, I'm going to give you a list of several items. You're going to pause the video and you're going to decide what unit you think fits best for that particular item or object. Then we'll do a word problem and you'll be ready to practice independently. Okay, in your notes, record these 8 objects. Pause the video and decide whether or not you think each one should be measured in inches, feet, yards, or miles. Some of them you may disagree with. You might think of a different unit. We can discuss that further during office hours. So let's think about a highway. A highway would be measured in miles. The length of a book would be measured in inches. A football field is measured in yards. A room would be measured in feet. A pencil would be measured in inches. A building would be measured in feet. A mountain can be measured in feet. And a person would be feet as well. Now, you might argue that a football field could also be measured in feet. A building could also be measured in yards. A mountain, depending on how big it is, could possibly be measured in miles. And a person, sometimes we hear of feet and inches. So this one really could be both. Okay, the last part of our video includes solving a word problem, and then you're free to get started on your work. Our word problem says, if the perimeter of the triangle at the right is 16 yards, what is the length of the third side? So a quick refresher, perimeter means how long the outside of a figure is. So the perimeter of the triangle, we'd have to add up all the sides. 5 plus 7 plus some number we don't know. So it tells us in the problem that the perimeter is 16 yards. So we need to think about, if we were to add up all of these sides, what length is missing? Well, I know that 5 plus 7 is 12, so I need to think of what plus 12 equals 16. The answer would be 4 yards. Okay, so that's our lesson for today. Go ahead and try the reteaching and practice. If you have any questions, you can reach out during virtual office hours or you can email me. And of course, I know that you missed his jokes. Here's Mr. Garreau with a measurement joke.
Hey guys, hope you had a good spring break. Why can't your nose be 12 inches long? Because then it would be a foot.
All right, see you later, boys and girls.